Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. Hope you all are doing well. It is Friday. Hope you had a fantastic week. It is the game preview ahead of Everton's Premier League fixture against Aston Villa away from home tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, isn't it? 5:30 kickoff. Difficult game for Everton again. Another tough away test for Rafa Benitez's Everton side, coming up against an Aston Villa side who haven't necessarily had the greatest start to the season. Had a really good transfer window. Obviously brought in a couple of players that I think Evertonians would have loved to have had at Everton, but they haven't quite settled in just yet. However, it is only early on. We are only 3-4 games in to the Premier League season, and they're doing okay at the moment, but I think it's clear that, you know, again, like I said, those new signings haven't quite properly settled in yet, and when they do, and if they do, I suppose it's a hope for Villa fans. You know, they'll sure be, you know, a side to watch out for. But it is still a really tough test for Everton, of course. Aston Villa are a really good side, a side that I think a lot of Evertonians and a lot of, you know, football fans would probably see in around the same area as Everton in regards to the league table. I think we'll both be fighting for the European position come the end of the season, and we'll both be in and around probably within about 5-6 points of each other and a couple of positions of each other come the end of the season. Got a really good manager in Dean Smith. Big fan of Dean Smith, obviously a massively experienced assistant in John Terry on the sideline as well, and some really good talented players that, you know, ultimately can hurt you if you're not you know, if you're not up to it on game day. And this is up to Everton to be up to it on, you know, tomorrow evening. Hopefully we can be sitting here on Monday talking about you know, a fantastic 3 points away from home. Hopefully we can be sitting here talking about a fantastic 90 minutes of football. You know, we said after the Burnley game, didn't we, that it was a great result and a great second half performance and an absolutely mad 6 minutes. However, you know, there is improvements to be made, of course, and those improvements come under the fact that we were quite poor for at least 50-55 minutes of that game, and then we turned it on. Hopefully, you know, tomorrow evening we're not sitting here saying the same thing. Hopefully Everton can get going from the off. Obviously our last away game was against Brighton. Really good win and a really good performance in that game as well. So if we can play anywhere near, you know, at that level that we played against Brighton, then I'll be confident that we can go and get all 3 points tomorrow. But Aston Villa are a decent side, a better side than Brighton in my opinion. Much more quality and much more quality up top to hurt teams as well. Obviously we know they've lost Jack Grealish this summer, who was a massive loss, would be a massive loss to any side, you know, given his quality, but they managed to replace him with 3 really good, really shrewd signings. In my opinion, he didn't go out and spend 100 million on one player and hope that he would bring as much quality as Jack Grealish did. They went out and they brought in, you know, 3 players that have different qualities that replace what Jack Grealish had previously brought to the club. Obviously, you know, the likes of Emi Buendia, Leon Bailey, who's one that certainly sticks in the heart of Evertonians. Certainly myself, I know Baz from Toffee TV, every time he has to mention Leon Bailey, has a little bit of a sort of stick in the heart, because Everton had scouted Leon Bailey, Everton had watched Leon Bailey for a matter of years and were interested in bringing him to the football club. It just so happens that the season that he moves, the summer that he moves, we've got absolutely no money whatsoever to manoeuvre with because of financial fair play. And obviously they brought in Danny Ings as well, who's a top Premier League experienced striker, already scored a couple of goals, one absolute beauty overhead kick a couple of weeks ago before the international break. So they've brought in some real quality players to replace that quality that they lost in Jack Grealish, and like I said, I suppose that's probably a little bit bittersweet for Aston Villa fans, because although they've brought in 3 really good, really exciting players, they have lost a player that, you know, single-handedly kept them in the Premier League a couple of years ago. You know, was part and parcel most of the reason as to why they, you know, done so well last season. He's been the club captain, the leader. He's been the focal point of Aston Villa for so long. He's now moved out the door, and like I said, they haven't had the greatest of starts to the season. They haven't, and the new players I don't want to say they haven't settled in, because again, like I said, Danny Ings has scored goals. Obviously Leon Bailey's had an assist or 2 as well, so it seems to have settled in. It just doesn't seem to all be clicking as well as maybe they would like, but I've got no doubt that it will click for Aston Villa because the players they've brought in are really, really good, and obviously bring quality to the side. So it'll be a difficult game. It'll be a tough game for Everton, of course. Again, going away to Villa Park is never easy, especially at a packed out Villa Park, really historical club, massive football club in England, and it's up to Rafa Benitez to be able to go out there and put in a shrewd, tough, performance and come away with all 3 points. There's no doubting Everton's quality. Obviously, we heard from Rafa Benitez yesterday in his pre-game press conference. We know Dominic Calvert-Lewin is still out injured. He is set to be out for at least another 2 to 3 weeks with the injury that he sustained before the game against Burnley. So again, massive miss. With Dominic Calvert-Lewin being out, I can't help but feel Dominic Calvert-Lewin's presence as a forward would have been massively needed in this game. James Rodriguez may or may not be available. It's a case of fitness. Rafa Benitez basically said we'll watch him over the next couple of days and determine whether or not he's fit enough to be a part of the squad. And yeah, like I said, it'll be a tough game. We know the latest on Aston Villa's situation is that Emi Buendia and Emi Martinez have arrived back in the country, I believe, and will be in contention of playing the game tomorrow. Obviously, they went away with Argentina in the recent international break, and there was all this thinking about quarantine periods and stuff like that. I believe they'll be assessed ahead of tomorrow's game, so they could be available as well, which isn't great for Everton because Emi Martinez is a really good goalkeeper. I remember him last season against Everton. He saved everything that got through at him. So it would have been beneficial if he wasn't available. And then obviously Emi Buendia, we know technically he's a very good footballer as well. But ultimately, like I said, the onus is on Everton for me tomorrow evening. The onus is on Everton. Everton have got to go out and show that. We've played 4 games so far in the Premier League this season. We played Southampton, who a lot of people at the start of the season had as favourites to go down. So again, a win against Southampton at home is as good of a win that it was, and as good as it was to see us come back from 1-0 down and change the game in the second half. It was an expected win. We all went into Goodison Park on that afternoon expecting to win that game of football. We went to Leeds, which was a difficult game away from home. We picked up a point. Should we have gotten all 3 points? I believe we should, but we got a point away at Leeds, which isn't a bad result whatsoever. We then obviously went to Brighton and won that game. Again, a team that you would expect to beat, especially if you're looking at Everton as a potential challenger for Europe. We beat Brighton, and then of course we beat Burnley more recently at home. Again, no disrespect to Burnley, but another side you would expect Everton to beat, even though they're a difficult team to break down, even though they're a difficult team to play against. You expect Everton to have more than enough quality to blow Burnley away, and ultimately we did in the end. It's a little bit different with Aston Villa. This game is the first game this season that we're coming up against the side that people would deem in and around the same, area as us. Yes, they're not one of the top 6 sides. It's not a Man United or a Man City or a Liverpool, etc. But they're a team that I feel will be floating in and around the same positions as Everton come the end of the season. And there's many teams that are in that bracket as well. There's Aston Villa, there's Tottenham, there's Arsenal, there's there's West Ham, there's maybe even Leicester in there as well, maybe even Wolves. So there's a lot of teams that are in this bracket of sort of, you've got your top 4, which will, I've got no doubt, be in some order Manchester City, Man United, Chelsea and Liverpool in some order. You've got 5th, which probably will be Leicester, because they're probably the best of the rest, if you like, even though I hate that saying. But then everywhere down from 6th to 12th is open. Everton could finish anywhere in those areas. We could finish 6th. We could even push for 5th. Or we could finish 12th and it be an absolutely dreadful season. And Aston Villa are one of those teams that are in that bracket of sides that could finish anywhere between 6th and 12th, in my opinion. So this is not the first big test, because Burnley was a big test and Brighton away was a big test, etc. But this is the first test against the side that, you look at and you think, right, okay, come the end of the season, you'll probably be in and around where we are in some form. And like I said before, I do think Everton and Aston Villa will finish within 5-6 points of each other come the end of the season. So it's a test. It's a really, really tough test, and hopefully it's a test that Everton can overcome, because if we can go to Villa Park and comfortably beat Aston Villa and come away, then we're looking at that then thinking, well, okay, we've gone up against the side that a lot of people would say are very similar to Everton, and certainly again a direct rival, if you like, in regards to league position, and we've gone there and we've beaten them. Hopefully we do it comfortably. Hopefully it's not another dross first half and then great second half. Don't get me wrong, I'd take that as long as we win. I'd take us playing awfully for 90 minutes and then, the ball bouncing off Solomon Rondon's arse cheeks in the last second and going in and we win the game 1-0. I'd take that as long as we win. I don't care. But hopefully we can go out and put a bit more of a confident, assured performance out like we did against Brighton. But as Jack says, Villa won't just sit back in a low block. We will score a few. They won't sit back, they'll come at us. But ultimately, that'll work for Everton because there'll be a lot more space for Everton's forwards, the likes of Damari Gray, Richarlison, and just Townsend to move into. But we have to be careful of the quality that Aston Villa possess as well. As I said, Emi Buendia, really good player if he's available and in the squad. You've got the likes of Danny Ings, who loves scoring against Everton for a start and is an out and out. He's a proper Premier League striker. He scores goals. He knows where the back of the net is. And again, we have to be aware of that. Leon Bailey, who Evertonians know oh so well, really good player, technically really good, strong, physical, skillful. We've got to be careful of his ability. Obviously, we know the likes of John McGinn in midfield, really good midfielder, can battle, can work hard. So Everton have got to be at 100% tomorrow. We simply have to be at 100%, and that's not even taking into consideration the crowd at Villa Park and the atmosphere at Villa Park. So it will be difficult. It really will be difficult, but I'm confident that Everton can go out and get the 3 points. I am confident that Everton can go out and get the 3 points. Let's have a little look at Aston Villa then and where they are. They're currently sitting 12th in the Premier League table. 4 games played, as I said, 1 win, 1 draw and 2 losses, -2 goal difference. Like I said, not the greatest start to the season, but we are only 4 games in, so it's not really something that you can be looking at too much. They recently were beaten 3-0 by Chelsea, really good Chelsea side as well, away from home. A Chelsea side that personally I think will win the league, in my opinion. They had 18 shots, Villa, in that game, 18 shots to Chelsea's 12, so it wasn't like they were completely overran and they were completely, again, they were, for lack of a better phrase, beaten heavily by Chelsea. The scoreline tells you one thing, but the stats actually tell you something different. They had chances in that game to maybe hurt Chelsea. They drew 1-1 with Brentford. Before that, obviously, before the international break, Emi Buendia equalising after Ivan Toney opening the game up. That was at Villa Park. They won 6-0 against Barrow in the FA Cup. In the EFL Cup earlier before them. And then obviously their first home win of the season and their only win of the season come against Newcastle 2-0 at Villa Park. Danny Ings and El Ghazi scoring in that game. That was the Danny Ings overhead kick. Absolutely brilliant goal. Again, 10 shots in that game. And of course, they lost 3-2 to Watford on the opening day. John McGinn scoring a really nice goal in that game, assisted by Leon Bailey. But Watford ultimately just the better side. So, like I said, they haven't had the greatest start to the season. Only 1 win in 4 games. Couple of losses and a draw as well. But again, I don't look at that too deeply. I don't look at the the results and the points and the stuff like that in too seriously, because too deeply. Certainly not at this point in the season, because we know the quality that Aston Villa can possess. We know already Danny Ings has already scored 2-3 goals since joining them. Leon Bailey's getting involved. Emi Buendia scored as well. John McGinn, who we know his quality, he's getting involved with goals. So they mightn't have had the results that they necessarily wanted, but the performances haven't been awful by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, more shots than Chelsea in that game, and ultimately it doesn't matter because Chelsea won 3-0 and ended up scoring their shots, but it wasn't like they were completely overran at Stamford Bridge. They battled and they give it their own. So it will be tough. It will be tough, no doubt about it. It'll be tough, but hopefully Everton have got more than enough with Damari Gray, Richarlison and just Townsend to go out there and get all 3 points, because again, we've had a really good start to the season. Rafa Benitez was asked yesterday, is it a perfect start to the season? And he said, well, no, it's not perfect because we drew at Leeds. It's very close to perfect, but it's not perfect. He was asked about improvements and he said there's always room to improve. There's always areas and positions in which you can improve on. There's always positions that players can improve on. He's asked about Damari Gray and he said, listen, Damari can improve on, just Townsend can improve as well. And like I said, hopefully Everton can go out and put in a solid performance, because it'll be a tough game. But it's certainly a game that we can win, by the way. We've got to be optimistic. It's certainly a game that we can win. Aston Villa have showed this season with losses to Watford, drawing to Brentford. Obviously, you know, again, the loss to Chelsea, that they're a side that have got good quality. But if you can take control of the game, if you can grab the game by the scruff of the neck, you can match their fight and their desire, then Everton's quality should come through for me on tomorrow evening. It should. We should show that, you know, for me, we're a better side than Aston Villa. Aston Villa are a good side, but for me, Everton are a better side. They've got better quality of player, Everton. So let's hope we can show that. And, you know, ultimately come away with another 3 points, because that's what we want. We don't want our first defeat of the season just yet, do we? Anyway, let's get into the live comments before we do our predicted starting 11. If you are watching live and you're enjoying, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. If you're enjoying and you're thinking, you know what, I'd love to share this team on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace. Tell the fella down the shop that Cam's streaming. Share the stream wherever you can, with everyone that you can. And let's try and get as many people involved as we can. Eugene says, the Marty Gray claim. Don't know what that claim is, but there you go. Eugene also says, happy birthday to Big Neville Southall yesterday. Yes, happy birthday to Neville Southall and Solomon Rondon for yesterday. Hope they had a fantastic day. Jason says, hi Cam, hi everybody. Hi mate, I hope you're doing well. Eugene says, Rafa said yesterday in his press conference that James Rodriguez will be assessed. Yes, he said that we'll watch him over the next couple of days, i.e. today in training, and then I don't know if they train tomorrow before the game. But that he will assess him and determine whether or not he's fit enough to be involved on Saturday. Hopefully he is, because we spoke last week about James Rodriguez, and ultimately it ended up being a waste of a conversation, didn't it, because he wasn't even in the squad. But we spoke last week about his ability to unlock a side like Burnley, and how Burnley notoriously, you know, sit back and defend and make it difficult for you, and somebody with the ability of James Rodriguez could be the difference between Everton winning that game and not winning that game. Ultimately, he wasn't involved in the squad, and he wasn't the difference between us winning and not winning. However, I look at a game again like against a team like Aston Villa, and I think, right, okay, good defensive side, got some good defensive players. As I said before, Emi Martinez, if he starts, really good, solid goalkeeper, brilliant acquisition for Aston Villa last summer, or the summer before last, should I say. And yes, we've got good attacking players. Yes, we've got players that have been brilliant this season, the likes of Andros Townsend, the Damari Gray, obviously Richarlison had a really good start to the season as well. Alex Iwobi has had a positive start to the season. I just think that a player with the quality of James Rodriguez, I just think that a player with the ability of James Rodriguez is never a player that you look at and you think, yeah, we don't need. There'll never be a situation where, for me, as an Evertonian, I look and think, we don't need James Rodriguez today. Because technically, he still is the best footballer at the club. He mightn't be the hardest worker, he mightn't be the fittest, but technically, in terms of technical ability, he still is the best footballer at the club. So if he's fit, and he is showing his commitment, and he is showing his desire, and he's passing all the fitness tests, and he's available to be a part of the matchday squad on, you know, tomorrow evening. I'm not saying start him and throw, you know, the formation or the system out the plan. I'm not saying start him, but if he's available, then surely we should have him on the bench, because then we might look to him, I don't know, with half an hour, 35 minutes to go, and think, right, you're going to come on and you're going to change this game here. You're going to affect this game positively. But who knows? Like I said, you know, we sat here last week and I said maybe this will be his time against Burnley to get his first, you know, return back in the back for Everton, and he didn't. So we'll wait and see whether or not he's available. Jason says, who needs Bailey when we've got Super Hands or Townsend? Yes. Jack says 4-1 to the Blues. I hope so, mate. Kev said, we always feared what we would do if Dom took a knock. Well, again, you know, for those neutral fans that seem to believe that their teams, suffered more than any other in regards to injuries. Last season, Everton suffered more than any other Premier League team with injuries. No question about it. We were the only Premier League team to have had every single player in our squad out injured at some point. We're 2-3 weeks into the Premier League season, and our striker, one of the best strikers in the league, and our only real sort of, I know we've got Richarlison and now Solomon Rondon, but our number one striker is now out for what could be 3-4 weeks now. Misses a game against Aston Villa, who were a difficult game. Missed Burnley, which was a difficult game the other night. Now, Rafa Benitez will obviously have to deal with this situation, whether that be with Richarlison as a sole striker for the coming weeks, as he was on Monday night, whether it be with 2 up front and maybe Solomon Rondon playing next to Richarlison, or whether it be with a different option that I'm going to talk about in our predicted starting 11. But how unlucky does it get more Everton than being 2 weeks into the Premier League season and our most, our biggest threat up front picks up a knock that's going to keep him out for 3 or 4 weeks? Villa are a decent side, says Kev. Yes, Tazio says going to be a tough one, but think we can sneak 2-1. Kev says 1-1, I think. Stephen says looking forward to going to Villa Park. Hopefully we get the 3 points. Is right, mate. Hope you enjoy your day. Yeah, hopefully we do get the 3 points. Jack the lad says Villa won't just sit back. Yeah, I think Rondon should start at Tom. Big Sol says Kev. Shannon says Richie over Rondon all day. That's like saying you would choose Morrison value chip over Birdseye. Not happening. Hey, nothing wrong with Morrison value chip, Shannon. If you're enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. It only takes a second. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Morrison's Thinkle says Kev. Basic says morning, my mate. Lee says I think both sides will score, but I think we'll score more. They'll target Gray and Townsend, but Richie will score, I reckon. Let's hope so. Basic says likes are a bit thin on the ground. Give the stream a like. If you could hit that big thumbs up button, it would be fantastic. Thanks, by the way, Basic. Really appreciate that. Steven says I really hope he doesn't go with 3 centre backs. I don't think he will. Listen, it was very, very clear against Burnley that 5 at the back, 3 at the back, whatever you want to call it, doesn't work. It just doesn't work for Everton. So I don't think he will. Colin says, still listening live from Lanzarote. Keep up the amazing work. Come on, you Blues. It's right, Colin. Thank you very much. Hope you all enjoying your holiday. I am massively jealous. Jason says, if James doesn't play tomorrow, I'd expect him to play against QPR in midweek. Will be a strange one, having a player like James just as a cup player. Interesting, obviously, we do play QPR on Tuesday, of course, so only a couple of days after the Aston Villa game in the Cup. Interesting take. I would assume that you will see, it's not a different team against QPR as per se, but you will see changes. I think you'll see Jean-Philippe Gbamin in that game. I think you might even see Tom Davis, and maybe you're right, maybe you'll see James Rodriguez. And Willie says, morning Cam, great show, mate, 2-0 to the Toffees this weekend. Thank you very much, Willie, really appreciate that. Yeah, look, as I said before, tough game, but certainly a game that I'm confident Everton can go out and pick the 3 points up in. We have to be confident ultimately, don't we? Because, like I said, again, Villa are a side that I think will be in and around that where Everton are at the end of the season. But these are the teams, these are the games you want to win. You want to win every game. Of course, you want to win every game. Rafa Benitez said it in his pre-game press conference yesterday. He said, I hate conceding first. And then he said, well, I hate conceding at all, really. But I hate conceding first more than anything. You want to win every game, of course you do, but these are the games that we might look back on at the end of the season, and if Everton is 6th and Villa are 10th, we might look back on and go, that was a big 3 points at Villa Park earlier on in the season, or vice versa. If Villa are 6th or 7th and Everton are 8th or 9th or 10th, we might look at it and go, if only we'd have got that 3 points at Villa Park. It's these head-to-head games that might be the difference come the end of the season in league position. So, big game and obviously a big win needed. Let's get into our predicted starting 11s then. As I said, if you're enjoying, please hit that big thumbs up button. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it then. Why continue rambling? We may as well get straight into it. In goal, I'm going for Jordan Pickford. Again, like I said, for me, not done anything wrong this season. Made a couple of really good saves. Wasn't a fault for the goal against Burnley the other night. And to be fair, didn't really have an awful lot to do against Burnley the other night. Wasn't massively tested, but I think his distribution was good. I think everything he sort of had to do, he done well. And yeah, again, like I said, I think he's been faultless this season. I don't think he's put a foot wrong. He hasn't had to do an awful lot, and I think he'll have to do a little bit more against Villa tomorrow than he has done in the previous 3-4 games. But as I said, not really put a foot wrong all season, and I don't see any reason why he wouldn't start this game. I really don't. So Jordan Pickford in goal. Luca Dean at left back. I said it on after Monday's game on Monday night in the instant match reaction, and I said it in the review. I think personally, I think Luca Dean could do better, and that's not me by any stretch of the imagination saying Luca Dean's been bad. Luca Dean's been very good in the games he's played so far in the Premier League. I just think he personally, for Luca Dean standards, he can do better. I think his crossing can improve. I think his set plays can improve more than anything. His crossing, again, isn't a big issue. I think corners and, again, free kicks into the box, I think they can improve. But this isn't by any stretch of the imagination me saying Luca Dean's been playing poorly or he's not good enough or this, that and the other, because that's just an absolutely redonkulous statement. That's ridiculous to say. He is still being absolutely quality because he is an absolutely quality left back. He's one of the best left backs in world football. And I just think for his standards, he can do more. But listen, like I said, he's been playing well recently. He hasn't done anything wrong. And obviously, he'll start on Saturday, as he should. So Luca Dean at left back. I'm going for Seamus Coleman at right back. Again, been really impressed with Seamus recently. Obviously, the fitness thing does, sort of creep into the back of your mind, and for me, does worry me a little bit. Will Seamus be able to continue this playing week in, week out? With no obviously backup right back to come in and take his place. I'm sure we'll see John Joe Kenny midweek or Mason Holgate midweek against QPR. But for me, I expect to see. I expect to see Seamus Coleman in the starting 11 tomorrow, as he should as well. Like I said, really good performance against Burnley. I don't know if anybody's seen him doing the keep you up headers on the line, which is fantastic. And look, Seamus, like I said, Seamus has been very good this season. He's been battling, he's been fighting, he's been showing his leadership. Throwing tackles in when he needs to, picking the ball up when he needs to, driving the ball into the midfield. I just think he's had a really good start to the season. So Seamus Coleman starts at right back for me. 2 centre halves. I'm going with Yerry Mina and Michael Keane for this one. Again, nothing against Ben Godfrey. I think Ben Godfrey done okay against Burnley. I think it was clear that he wasn't fit, or wasn't as fit as maybe we'd like him to be. And obviously the counter-argument to what I'm about to say is that, well, he's not going to get fit unless he plays games of football, and I understand that. However, I think Tuesday against QPR would be the perfect chance for Ben Godfrey to play in a 2. Effectively, I don't want us to play a 5 at the back formation, or a 3 at the back, whatever you want to call it, because I really don't like it. And I don't think that Ben Godfrey is fit enough to be able to play as part of a centre-back pairing just yet. Or certainly he wasn't against Burnley. Now, I know he's had an extra week at training, etc., but certainly he wasn't against Burnley. So I think the QPR game at midweek could be a good time for Ben Godfrey to play as in part of a centre-back pairing, get that match fitness up. He'll have had another week in his belt for training and fitness, etc., and he'll be coming up against the side that won't give us half the troubles that a team like Aston Villa will give us. Still a decent team, QPR, but not as much quality as obviously Aston Villa. So I don't think Ben Godfrey will start this game. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Rafa will look and go, right, you're ready to go in now as part of a centre-back pairing. But I just don't think that'll be the case for tomorrow. So I'm going with Yerry Mina in one of the centre-back positions. I think Yerry was brilliant on Monday, certainly in that second half. Dominant. For me, I think he's our best centre-half. I really, really do. I think he's absolutely quality. He's an absolute ball magnet. Obviously, he'll be marking Danny Ings, who, again, is a really good Premier League striker, a striker that we know can score goals, that we know can get the better of defenders if a defender isn't at his best. So it's going to be a difficult game for Yerry Mina, we know that, but I think he should have more than enough in his locker to be able to deal with Danny Ings, and to be able to, put a bit of pressure on Danny Ings and do what he usually does, Yerry Mina, have a little weight down his ear and battle him physically, and I think, again, if any centre halves to do that for me, it's Yerry Mina. And I'm going to go with Michael Keane partnering him. Now, some fans might say, some Evertonians might be listening to me saying, oh, scored 1 goal, has he, and had a decent 30 minutes, and now all of a sudden he's starting every week. Like I said, for me, my ideal centre-back partnership at Everton would be Yerry Mina and Ben Godfrey. There's no doubt in that. I think they're the best 2 centre-backs at the football club, and I think they're the best partnership at the football club. I just don't know whether Ben Godfrey is ready or fit enough to play in a centre-back pairing, as I've just said. So therefore, unless we're playing a 3 at the back, which nobody wants, then Ben Godfrey isn't playing. If by my logic, maybe he is fit enough to play in a centre-back pairing, and maybe he'll go straight in there. But I just don't think he is. Certainly he wasn't the other day against Burnley. And like I said, I think the QPR game would be a perfect time to get him in as in a centre-back pairing, and obviously get him that match fitness back up. So therefore it leaves you with Mason Holgate or Michael Keane. Now, I know Michael Keane's had a shaky start to the season. I get that. I get he's made mistakes. But his goal against Burnley was fantastic. It was fantastic. Again, it was a really good cross by Andros Townsend, but it was a really, really good header. Michael Keane still had a lot to do. He had to get up, he had to make a good connection with it, and he had to guide a goal, which, yes, he was under no pressure, and yes, he would expect, a Premier League footballer to be able to do that, but we know, certainly with somebody like Michael Keane, what you expect and what you get can be wildly different sometimes. So it was a really, really good header, and then from that point on, Michael Keane grew in confidence and all of a sudden was fantastic for the rest of the game against Burnley, in my opinion. From that point on, second half, he was really solid. Everything he had to deal with, he dealt with well. There was no panicking. He was calm, he was cool, he was collected, and he played 2 or 3 really, really nice over-the-top balls to the forward line to get us going on the counter-attack. Now, I know this whole confidence player, and we can't trust the confidence player, and you shouldn't have a player in there who 1 week's great and 1 week isn't, 1 week's full of confidence and playing well, and the next week isn't full of confidence and playing poorly. I get all of that, I get it. But at this current moment, given our current options, I just think Michael Keane, given that goal against Burnley, given his second half performance against Burnley, I think Rafa Benitez said to him, right, you've done well in that second half, scored a good goal, go out there and play again like that. I think we could get a decent performance out of Michael Keane tomorrow, I do. So Michael Keane and Yerry Mina for me in the centre of the defence. I'm going to go with a 4-4-2. Now, we might well see a 4-4-3 because obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin's injured and I don't think Solomon Rondon is quite ready to start yet. Maybe I'm wrong. We might well see a 4-4-3, but I'm going to go with a 4-4-2. Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré in the middle of the park. No issues with this whatsoever. I think Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré have both been absolutely exceptional at the start of the Premier League season. Once again against Burnley, Alan, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, covering every single bit of ground, throwing tackles in, winning the ball back, moving us forward when he can move us forward, battling, fighting, like I said, constantly, in his ears of his teammates, being a leader, directing players, praising players, or giving players criticism. Whatever he's doing, he's constantly in the ear of his teammates, being a real leader. So Alan, for me, absolutely keeps his place, of course. And Abdoulaye Doucouré next to him, very similarly. Really good start to the season. Again, unlucky to not get a goal on Monday night, just ruled offside. And I think that centre-back pairing is sort of picks itself, really, doesn't it? So for me, Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré as the centre-back pairing. On the left, I'm going to go with Alex Iwobi. On the right, I'm going to go with Andros Townsend. Obviously, Andros Townsend, absolutely exceptional against Burnley. Fantastic cross for Michael Keane's goal. And then, as we've spoken about on a number of occasions over the past couple of days, an absolute world-class strike for his goal. Unbelievable. Like I said, his left foot will be sponsored by NASA soon if he's not careful. And put in a really, really solid performance as well. Even in that first half when he wasn't particularly getting forward or creating much getting forward, he was, he battled, he worked hard, he done his defensive duties. And Alex Iwobi, for me, I think deserves a start. And maybe if he doesn't get it tomorrow, we'll get it on Tuesday against QPR. I would assume if he doesn't start tomorrow, we'll start against QPR on Tuesday. But I just think that when he's come on, he's done well. And when he's come on, like I said, when he's come on as a substitute, he's done well. He's affected the game. He's affected games positively. And obviously when he started in the Cup a few weeks ago, he done well as well. He scored the goal, he was getting forward, he was creating chances. So I just think Alex Iwobi starting on that left-hand side could cause Aston Villa some problems. He's very tricky, he's quick, he's good with the ball at his feet, he's a good dribbler. I just think he could cause Aston Villa some real issues on Saturday. So I've gone with Alex Iwobi on the left, with Andros Townsend on the right. If you're enjoying, by the way, please hit that big thumbs up button. It does only take a second, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. And then I'm going to go with Richarlison and Demarai Gray as a forward pair. Now, obviously, this is something that we're not very used to, Demarai Gray playing up front as a striker. Again, like I said, maybe Rafa Benitez will go with Solomon Rondon. Maybe he will deem Solomon Rondon fit enough to start. Like I said, come on the other day, looked alright, didn't really do an awful lot, didn't really have an awful lot to do, picked the ball up on a couple of occasions and passed it off. He was only on the pitch for 5-10 minutes, something like that. He'll have had another week's training, obviously, in the bag as well, so maybe Rafa Benitez will deem him fit enough to start, and maybe he'll go with the two up front with Solomon Rondon, or maybe he'll deem him not fit enough to start and just go with the 4-3-3 without the need for a second striker. I just think it'd be really interesting to see Demarai Gray partner Richarlison up front. I do. Demarai Gray obviously is on absolute fire at the moment. Brilliant, 3 goals in his last 3 games for Everton, scoring all 3 goals. Sort of, again, the one against Burnley was sort of from a centre forward position, if you like, running through on goal, The other two against Leeds and Brighton were very much from a winger's position, but he's drove into the box, he's got himself into a good area, and he slotted it away. Very clearly a threat on goal, very clearly a threat on the wing as well, so I would understand why some people wouldn't be too keen on seeing Demarai Gray as a striker, because then you lose what he brings as a winger. I understand that completely, and I understand completely that he's been brought in to be a winger, not a striker, but just at this moment, whilst Dominic Calvert-Lewin's out injured, I just think it'd be interesting to see if Demarai Gray could partner Richarlison up front, and maybe play as sort of a left striker. So he's still slightly on the wing, but he's more as up front, with Richarlison sort of next to him on the right hand side. It'll be interesting, of course. Richie, like I said, will no doubtedly start and hopefully gets a goal. And hopefully he can put in a strong performance. Because I think, obviously every time he puts that Everton shirt on, he's desperate to score. So it'd be great to see Richarlison score. And hopefully Demarai Gray keeps up his goal scoring run as well and gets another one. But like I said, maybe Rafa Benitez will go with that. Maybe he'll go with something else. I just thought it was a different option that Aston Villa probably won't be prepared for. We know obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin's out. We don't know whether Solomon Rondon is fit enough yet to start. So we'll wait and see. We will wait and see. Anyway, that is my predicted starting 11. Hopefully we get to see James Rodriguez at least make an appearance on the substitutes bench, but we'll wait and see on that one. But let us know your thoughts anyway in the comment section down below if you watch the YouTube video on my predicted starting 11, and if you're watching live, let us know your thoughts in the live comments as well. Danby says Gomez or Iwobi in for Godfrey, then play forward at the back. Interesting. Tuesday Delaney says, hi Cam, hope you are well. Rafa is doing well for Everton. He is. I'm not too bad, mate. Hope you're doing well yourself. Ian says, Cobbites be throwing their dummies. We're getting 15 million off the City towards Bramley-Moore and a 30 million loan. Yes, a lot of Liverpool fans not very happy with that, but there you go. Liam says, Cam, if Rafa picked Gray like he said yesterday, and we know he brought Townsend, Lonergan and Rondon, and I watched an interview from America when he said he called Begovic, what's Brands been doing? Well, maybe Brands was working on a couple of other deals that weren't to happen because of financial fair play. Maybe Brands was behind Everton trying to get Ainsley Maitland-Niles or Denzel Dumfries or Luis Diaz, and that just didn't come to fruition because of FFP and money reasons, etc. So yeah, again, good question. Unfortunately, I can't answer it. It would be nice if Marcel Brands sat down and told us what he did over the summer, but we're probably never going to get that. Liam says 3-1 to Everton. Let's hope so, my mate. Tazio says, what's your prediction for this game, Cam? I'm going to go with 2-1 Everton. Tough game, tight game, but I'm going to go with Everton getting the 3 points. Stephen says, Mina and Keane are the best partnership. They bring the best out of each other. Interesting. Liam says, just read the report, Cam, that Rafa doesn't think we have a natural centre-back partnership in the squad and wants a quality centre-back of his own. Interesting. I haven't read that, mate. Let us know where that's from and I'll go and give it a read. Ian says, very tough game. Villa were unlucky against Chelsea. They were unlucky. They had more shots than Chelsea did. Unlucky. And obviously come up against a really, really good side. Stephen says, want Alan, Decore and Gomez in a 3-man midfield. Interesting. Andre Gomez has had a good start to the season as well. Whenever he's come on, he's done well. Changed the game against Burnley on Monday night. So, again, interesting. Great competition for places now, says Ian, and Tazul says maybe this is the game to start Kabam in a central 3 with Alan and Decore to give us more strength in midfield. Maybe. We'll wait and see. I think if the Kabam doesn't play tomorrow, I think he'll play on Tuesday, but it's interesting because we are going to have to get to a point where Jean-Philippe Kabam is playing in the Premier League. He cost far too much money, and I get that he's I get that he's obviously he's struggled with injury and he's had a torrid time. I understand that, but ideally we will get to a position where he's playing Premier League football for Everton. So very, very, very interesting. Anyway, we're going to finish it there then. Look, difficult game. I know Aston Villa haven't had the greatest start to the season, obviously, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they've got some real quality players in their side, and players that can certainly hurt Everton if we aren't on it on Saturday evening. So hopefully we can come away with a big 3 points away from home against the difficult side. And yeah, we will wait and see. We will be back, of course, tomorrow with the instant match reaction and the player ratings directly after the game, so don't forget to look out for those as well. Massive thank you to everybody for joining us live. John says hello everyone. Sorry John, you've just about missed out, but thank you very much for joining anyway. Massive thanks to everybody for watching live in the live comments. I really, really do appreciate it. If you've watched this as a YouTube video, get your thoughts in the comment section down below, and we will be getting involved with as many of them as possible. If you've enjoyed this one, please do hit that big thumbs up button. It does only take a second, and it means a massive amount to me. It just shows us that you're enjoying the content, you're liking what you see, and you want to see more. And if you're new, by the way, and you're thinking, how can I keep up to date with all of the latest Mighty Blues content? How can I keep up to date with everything Everton? Hit that red subscribe button and hit that little bell notification next to it. Basically what that does, it means when you go on YouTube and you go on your subscriptions page, all of our videos will be there. And if you hit that little bell notification, it means that you could be sitting on a train, you could be sitting at work, you could be making some toast in the kitchen, you could be making a brew, you could be watching a film, and every time that I upload, or we upload, or we do a stream, or we go live, you'll get a notification on your phone, or your tablet, or your smartwatch, or your smart fridge, or your telly, or your smart fireplace, if you've got one of them, if they even exist, that we're live, or we've uploaded, and you'll be able to be one of the first people to get involved. So please do hit that subscribe button and that bell notification as well. Massive thanks to everybody involved in the live comments. As always, really do appreciate your support. Up the F and Toffee says Ian, and RG Allen says perfect timing. If you've enjoyed this one, like I said, please hit the thumbs up button. Difficult game tomorrow, but certainly one that I think Everton can win, and certainly one that Everton will hopefully go out and get a good result in. Massive thanks for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues. Cheers for watching. See you after.